My name is Marcus Webb. I have been a night security guard at Yosemite National Park for 14 months. I am not a ranger. I want to make that distinction clearly because it matters to how I was trained, what I was told, and what I was not told. Rangers have jurisdiction. Rangers have protocols that come from the National Park Service, documented, reviewed, updated on a federal schedule. My protocols came from a private contractor called Threshold Site Management, which holds the overnight security contract for Yosemite's restricted access points. I have never met anyone from the company in person. My supervisor communicates by email. My paychecks clear on time. I have never been given a phone number that reaches a human being. The job posting said night access control, gate monitoring, and perimeter confirmation. It said reliable transportation required, comfort with isolated work environments preferred, and prior security experience a plus. It did not say anything about the gates. None of the posting language mentioned what the gates were actually for. I found out on my first night. The gate I am assigned to is called Access Point 17. It is not on any public map of Yosemite. It sits at the end of a fire road that branches off the Tioga Pass corridor about 4 miles past the last public turnout, behind a seasonal closure barrier that is padlocked from October through May and left unlocked but unmarked the rest of the year. The gate itself is 12 feet tall, steel pipe construction painted the same brown as the Park Service signage, with a manual lock and a sensor panel on the eastern post that I have never been given instructions to operate. The sensor panel has 3 lights on it: green, amber, and red. On every shift I have worked, the green light is on when I arrive and the green light is on when I leave. In 14 months, I have never seen the amber or red light activate. I asked about the sensor panel in my first week. The email response from my supervisor said the panel is maintained by a separate technical team and falls outside your operational scope. Do not interact with the panel. Note its status at the beginning and end of each shift in your log. That was the complete response. My shift runs from 9 in the evening to 5 in the morning, 8 hours at a gate on a fire road in the Yosemite backcountry, alone. In a truck the company provided, a white Ford F250 with no markings, a spotlight mounted on the driver's side, and a lockbox in the back seat containing a radio, a first aid kit, a flashlight, and an envelope I was told to open only in the event of a Category 3 situation, which was defined in my orientation materials as a breach of Access Point 17. I have never opened the envelope. I do not know what a breach would look like. In 14 months, the gate has remained closed and locked on every shift. Nothing has come through it from the inside. Nothing from the outside has attempted to pass through it. By every measurable standard, this is the quietest security post I have ever worked. But the gate is not there to stop traffic. I understood that by the end of the first week. Whatever Access Point 17 is managing, it is not vehicle access or unauthorized hiking. The fire road on my side of the gate sees no traffic. The fire road on the other side of the gate, the side I cannot access, the side that runs deeper into the backcountry toward a section of Yosemite the public maps label as Wilderness Study Area, that road is used. I can see the evidence every morning when the light comes up: tire tracks in the soft shoulder, boot prints in the dust near the gate's base, disturbances in the brush on either side of the road that suggest passage, regular passage, by something moving through the corridor in the hours before dawn. Nothing passes through the gate. Whatever moves on the other side of it uses the corridor without using the gate. The gate is not the barrier. The gate is the marker. It marks the edge of something. And my job, though no one has ever said this directly, is to sit on this side of the marker and be present while whatever moves on the other side of it moves. I have 11 operational guidelines. They were in a document attached to my orientation email. The document was titled Access Point 17, Site-Specific Protocols, Night Personnel. I am going to tell you what they say and what I have learned about what they mean. The first guideline says to remain in the vehicle between midnight and 4 in the morning, except for scheduled perimeter walks. The perimeter walks happen at 10 in the evening, 1 in the morning, and 3:30 in the morning. Each walk covers the same path from the truck south along the fire road to a reflective post marker 60 yards from the gate, then north along the fire road to a second post marker 60 yards in the other direction, then back to the truck. Total distance approximately 240 yards. Total time approximately 8 minutes. I have walked this path over 400 times. I know every rut and stone on it. What I have learned about the midnight to 4 restriction is that the corridor on the other side of the gate is most active during that window. I can hear it. Not always, not every night, but often enough that I have logged it 42 times in 14 months. A sound of movement from beyond the gate, directional, purposeful. The sound of something or multiple somethings transiting the corridor at speed. The sound does not slow near the gate. It does not pause or investigate. It moves through the corridor the way freight moves through a shipping lane on schedule, without interest in the infrastructure it passes. The second guideline says not to illuminate the area beyond the gate with the truck spotlight. I can use the spotlight on my side of the gate freely. I cannot direct it through the bars or over the top of the structure onto the road beyond. In my 3rd month, I understood why. The spotlight would constitute acknowledgement. It would suggest surveillance of the corridor rather than presence at its boundary. Whatever arrangement allows the transit to continue without incident is predicated on the gate being a threshold, not a window. I keep the spotlight on my side. The 3rd guideline says that if I observe another vehicle on the fire road approaching from the Tioga Pass direction, I am to radio dispatch on Channel 9 and provide the vehicle description before making any contact with the occupants. I have done this 4 times. On each occasion, the vehicle turned out to be a contractor, a different contractor each time, arriving with equipment I was not briefed on, staying for between 20 and 90 minutes, and departing without explanation. Each time, dispatch confirmed the contractor before I approached. Each time, the contractors were polite, efficient, and entirely unwilling to answer any question about what they were doing. On the 4th visit, a woman with the equipment case and a badge I did not recognize told me without being asked that the sensor panel was functioning within normal parameters. Then she got in her vehicle and left. I have not seen her since. The 4th guideline says not to sleep during the shift. This seems obvious for a security posting, but the emphasis in the document was unusual. It said, "Do not sleep," underlined, followed by, "If you feel a strong compulsion to sleep outside of normal fatigue patterns, exit the vehicle and walk the perimeter route immediately, regardless of the time. Do not attempt to resist the compulsion from inside the vehicle." The compulsion I felt for the first time on the 22nd night was not like normal drowsiness. Normal drowsiness is gradual. This was immediate and total, like a switch being thrown, full alertness to near unconsciousness in under a minute. I got out of the truck and walked the perimeter, and by the time I reached the first post marker, I was fully alert. It happened 7 more times over the following months. Each time, getting out and walking resolved it within 2 minutes. I have a theory about this that I will get to later. The 5th guideline says that if the green light on the sensor panel changes to amber, I am to radio dispatch immediately and remain in the vehicle with the engine running. I am to face the vehicle toward the exit road, not toward the gate. I am not to watch the gate while the amber light is active. I am to wait for dispatch instructions before taking any further action. The green light has never changed in 14 months. I think about this guideline more than any of the others. The sixth guideline says that voices heard from beyond the gate should be logged but not responded to. In 14 months, I have logged voices 11 times. They are always male. They are always calm. They speak in what sounds like a conversational register, the kind of tone you use when you are talking to someone standing next to you, not calling out, not projecting. The content is never fully intelligible. I catch fragments, measurements, sometimes numbers spoken in sequence, directional language, references to positions or coordinates. Once, clearly and completely, the words "not yet" followed by something I could not make out. I logged all of it. Dispatch has never commented on any log entry involving voices. The seventh guideline says to log the time of any unusual animal behavior within visual range of the post. I have filled 2 full log books with these entries. Yosemite's wildlife behaves differently near Access Point 17 than it does anywhere else in the park. Deer approach the gate and stand facing it for minutes at a time before moving on. Coyotes avoid the fire road entirely, circling through the brush on either side, but never setting foot on the road surface within 100 yards of the gate. Once, a black bear approached from the Tioga Pass direction, stopped 40 feet from my truck, looked at the gate for a long time, and then turned around and walked back the way it had come, at a pace that looked, and I am aware of how this sounds, deliberate, considered, like a decision had been made. The 8th guideline says that at the end of each shift before leaving, I am to walk to the gate and place both hands flat on the steel frame for a count of 10. Not on the lock, not on the sensor panel, on the frame itself. The document does not explain this. It says this is required. Do not omit it. I have done it at the end of every single shift. The frame is always cold, colder than the ambient air temperature, even in July when Yosemite nights are mild. In the deepest cold of January, the frame is colder still, cold enough that my hands ache for 10 minutes after I lift them. Something about this action feels less like a procedural requirement and more like a signal. I am here. I was here. I held this position for another night. Whatever the count of 10 communicates, I do it faithfully. The 9th guideline says that if I hear my name spoken from beyond the gate, I am to get in the truck, lock the doors, and radio dispatch on Channel 9. I am not to respond. I am not to approach the gate. I am to remain in the truck until dispatch confirms it is safe to resume normal operations. My name has been spoken from beyond the gate twice. The first time was on the 63rd night, around 2:40 in the morning, male voice. The same conversational register as the other voices I had logged, saying my full name, Marcus Webb, once, clearly, with no particular inflection. I got in the truck and radioed dispatch. Dispatch said, "Copy, stand by." 11 minutes later, they said, "Resume normal operations." They did not tell me what had happened or what had caused it. The second time was 3 months later, same time of night, same voice, same tone, same response from dispatch, same 11-minute wait. I've started to think the 11 minutes is not a coincidence. The 10th guideline says that the gate must not be unlocked under any circumstances without explicit written authorization from threshold site management delivered via the company email system. Not verbal authorization, not radio authorization, written via email from the company address. In 14 months, I have not received this authorization. In 14 months, I have not unlocked the gate. I do not know what would happen if I did. I have thought about it. I think about it most on the nights when the corridor sounds are loudest, when whatever moves on the other side of the gate moves close enough to it that I can hear the difference between the sound in the middle distance and the sound near the frame, a shift in the acoustic quality, a presence rather than a passing. I think about it, and I do not do it. The gate stays locked. The 11th guideline says that when my posting ends, I am to submit a complete shift log archive to the company email and then delete all personal records of my time at access point 17. Photographs, notes, recordings, log copies, all of it. The guideline says this is a condition of the final payment. I am telling you what I know now before that happens because I think someone should know, and because the deletion instruction is the one guideline I have decided I will not follow completely. Here is what I believe about access point 17 after 14 months of sitting in front of it in the dark. The gate is not keeping something in. The corridor on the other side is a transit route used regularly by something that does not need the gate to open in order to use it. The gate marks the edge of an arrangement, an old arrangement, older than the park, older than the road, possibly older than the concept of a boundary in the way that humans understand boundaries. Whatever moves through that corridor has been moving through it for a very long time. The arrangement allows it to continue doing so. The sensor panel monitors the terms of the arrangement. Green means the terms are being honored. The night guard, the human presence at the threshold, the hands on the cold steel frame, at the end of every shift, that is our part of the terms. Presence, acknowledgement, the specific, rule-governed attention of a person who shows up every night and does the same things in the same order and does not deviate. The compulsion to sleep that the 4th guideline addresses is not fatigue. It is pressure from the other side of the arrangement, a test of whether the presence is genuine or merely physical. Getting out of the truck and walking is the proof. You cannot sleepwalk a perimeter check. You cannot be genuinely present while unconscious. The arrangement requires consciousness. It requires intention. Every time I get out of that truck at 2 in the morning and walk 240 yards in the dark because something in me went suddenly and completely toward sleep, I am demonstrating that I understand the terms, even if no one has ever explained them to me directly. I have 1 month left in this posting. I will place my hands on the gate frame for a count of 10. On my last night, the same as every other night, I will walk the perimeter 3 times. I will not unlock the gate. I will not shine the spotlight beyond it. I will not answer if my name is spoken from the other side. When I leave, someone else will come. Another guard from another posting handed the same orientation document, told the same incomplete version of what the job is, left alone in a white unmarked truck on a fire road in the Yosemite backcountry to figure out the rest. I hope they read this before they start. I hope it helps. What I want them to know, more than the rules and more than my interpretations of the rules, is this: the gate is not for your safety. It never was. It is not there to protect you from what is on the other side. It is there because the other side agreed to it. That distinction sounds small, and it is not small. You are not protected by that gate. You are party to an agreement that involves it. There is a difference between those two things, and the difference is everything. Show up every night, do the walk, put your hands on the frame, stay awake, honor the terms. That is the job. That is all it has ever been.